Here we are at Delta Fields, winterizing. Okay, so first thing you're gonna wanna do, you just wanna open up that spigot. Oh wait, that's not the first thing. First thing you wanna do is you wanna come in here, fuse panel, and if you're in here, things you wanna turn off for winterizing, H02 heater. Make sure that breaker's off, because if there's no water in the water heater, it'll burn it up. You also want to turn off, one of these is water pump right here, 11 and 13. Make sure that's off. Once those are off, what you can do is you can take a garden hose, you can hook it up right here, open this valve, and that will drain water out here. You don't want to drain it in there because it'll just make a mess. While that's going on, you can open up this spigot here. You can open up all the faucets. You want to drain as much water as possible. When that water is all drained, you take that same garden hose, you hook it up here, you open up that valve, that'll drain the hot water heater. So once you've got gravity draining of pretty much everything, you get your compressor, hook up your air hose, make sure that the output on the compressor is set to 30 pounds. You don't want any more than that or else you might damage things. Turn on your compressor. We like to hook the air hose up to this outside spigot here. Make sure this is open. Charge the system. Make sure all the valves are closed. And by that I mean the sink, toilets, all the spigots. Make sure everything's closed. And then one at a time, come in here. There's a sink in the corner. This is where I like to start. Run the cold water, run the hot water. And when it's just air like that, you know that the system's blown out. Okay, so we do that spigot in there. Come around here. We're gonna go into the women's room. Women's room sink. Yeah, there's just a little bit coming through. You want to go until that stops. Come in here, flush the toilet. Sounds nice. There's a spigot on the floor here. You want to use a pair of pliers, open that. In here, this access hole, there is a valve. Not sure if the camera's getting that or not, but this valve used to go to a urinal, now it doesn't go anywhere. It comes down and it dead ends. So that's a great place for water to settle. So you have to open up this and you gotta crack that valve. Make sure no water settles here. That's the trickiest part of this whole place. It's knowing that that valve is in the wall. Now the toilet. If the toilet doesn't... If the toilet doesn't close right away because it's just air going through it, just give it a couple wiggles, it'll turn off. Now we walk over, we're going into the men's room. Right here. Same thing. And then I go in here, I flush that toilet. There's another drain right here. Gotta make sure you get that. Now we're walking out of the men's room. Come around the corner here. There's an old water bubbler here. Open that valve. Okay. Now we're gonna go into the kitchen area. In the kitchen area, there is the sink, right? But then also down here, this is a water line. That's the last one you're gonna have to do because there's no valve on it. This is hooked up to the outside water. There's another one under here. So when you're all said and done blowing up the lines, these are all just caps that you have to take off. There's no valve on them, so you can't really blow them out. Because in order to properly blow out the system, you have to do it one at a time. So we'll just take those caps off when we're done, and it'll gravity feed. So now we're back to the front of the building, and I do this process 3 times. By the 3rd time, every time you get to a sink, it should just be emptied. Once we're done blowing it out, we'll take the toilets apart, meaning the flusher meters. We just take them apart, we leave them on the ground right next to it. And then, antifreeze, pour it down the sink. Each sink gets a little antifreeze. Each toilet gets a little antifreeze. And that's it. That's it. Bye. Alright, one thing I forgot to mention here about the antifreeze is that after you've poured the antifreeze down the toilet, you also have to pour antifreeze down here. There's a small little reservoir in there, and if it freezes, it'll crack the whole backside of the toilet here. Good luck. Alright, now blew out the pipes. You put the antifreeze down all the drains. Now you're all done. Last thing you do, you go around, open every valve. Open that valve, open that valve. Everywhere that water comes out of, leave it open.